So we're going to start with a reading of the Christmas story from the sacred scriptures of the Bible. We'll read the story from Luke. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him, and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him in clothes and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. And an angel of the Lord appeared, and the glory of the Lord shone around them. And they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in clothes and lying in a manger." And suddenly a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see what has happened, and see what the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in a manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told. So we're going to enter into a time of meditation and a time of prayer, a time of quiet, which always seems so perfect on a night like this, when it's still outside and we're in spiritual community. And so I invite you to simply get comfortable in your chair, whatever that looks like, whatever that feels like, knowing whatever you do really is fine. And I invite you to just become aware of your breath. Don't worry about changing it or lengthening it. Just become aware of that wonderful miracle that simply is breathing, of the amazing ability we have, without even thinking, to take in oxygen, to move it through our bodies, and then release to create more room to bring in yet another lung full of oxygen. And breathing in and breathing out. I invite you to take a moment and begin to imagine that you are breathing in and out to the center of your chest, through that place that is sometimes referred to as the heart chakra. And feel each breath coming in through love, each breath exiting through love. The entire process of inhaling and exhaling, simply done in love. And I invite you to hold in your mind an image or a memory of a time when you had the experience of love. A time when you felt loving, a time when you felt love towards you. And just focus on that feeling that is love. And allow that feeling to simply move through you, in you, and as you. Knowing that every molecule of your body, every particle of your being vibrates at that frequency that is love. And allow that to expand throughout your entire body, that sense of love, that beautiful sense. And allow it now to expand beyond your body. That sense of love, allow it to simply expand and fill the room, to expand out, filling every space, and then moving beyond. Feel that love mingling with the love of every other person in this room, knowing there is no boundary, that the love simply exists, moving on now through the entire city and county, through the region, the country. Allow it now to simply be a part of the world, this infinite love that is centered within you, yet encompasses all things, all places, all people, knowing that you are one with love. And if you are one with love, you are one with God. Allowing yourself just to breathe into that for a few moments, that knowledge that God is all there is, that God is love, and that love is all there is, that love simply is the truth on this Christmas Eve and on every day and every night, in every place, in every person, and just allowing yourself to breathe in and out. Continuing to breathe, aware of love, sensing it, feeling it, being it. And as you slowly bring your focus back more into the room, more completely into your body, aware of your toes, your arms and your fingertips, I invite us to enter into prayer. I invite us to continue in this space knowing that God is all there is, that there is no place, no time, no moment, no experience, no space within our lives or the lives of any where the divine is not fully and completely present. And knowing that God is all there is, I know that each of us is one with God. One with love, one with peace, one with joy, one with strength, one with power, one with beauty, one with wisdom, one with comfort and one with ease. Knowing that all the qualities of God simply move through, in, and as us and are available in each and every moment as part of our oneness. And knowing this to be true, knowing that God is all there is and we are one with God, I know that we are one with each other. That we are one in community. Not just here and not just now, but we are one with everyone everywhere in every moment of every day. Knowing that there is no separation, knowing that peace simply is the truth between us. Knowing that love is the truth between us. That if other form is there, it is simply an illusion. That fundamentally, at the very basic level of all things, there simply is peace on earth and love for all. So grateful I am for these words. So grateful I am for this truth. So grateful I am to share this moment right here and right now in this place. And I release this prayer, knowing that it is already done in the heart, mind, and soul of God, that I have done nothing but state the truth as it already was and already has been unfolding. And invite you now to join with me in this prayer, in affirming it and acknowledging the truth by simply saying, "And so it is." Amen. So Merry Christmas. I know I keep saying that, but it's such an important thing for us, I think, to consider. This idea of a special day. In our culture, Christmas is really the most important holiday I think we have. And it has so many wonderful meanings. But most of them seem to center around love and peace, caring and compassion. And those aren't necessarily traits that our culture holds to 365 days a year. But we have made sure that we have at least a period of time, at least a day, where that's what we focus on. When we remind ourselves that what truly is important is love. What truly is important is compassion. And we have the wonderful story in the Bible, this wonderful story of Jesus' birth. And for those of you that don't know, and I think most of you probably do, Unity looks at Jesus differently than other traditions do. We look on Jesus as the great example. We look at him as the way shower. We look at him as someone who is one with God, just as we are one with God. But somewhere along the way, his consciousness shifted and changed. And he became aware of that truth of his oneness. When you read the Bible, one of the interesting things is Jesus never says anything about himself that he doesn't say about other people. He never claims to be the unique one. And that's one of the beauties of unity. And it's also one of the challenges that I have with the Bible, because we have this wonderful story, a beautiful kind of mythology about a star and angels and shepherds and sheep and a humble birth. And we have about 3 vague years. We have a little bit of a harrowing adventure and an escape from death. Then at 12, we find out he's a prodigy. And when we hear from Jesus next, it's 30, he's walking on water, making water into wine and healing people. Now, I don't know about you, but what I would really like to have been told is what he did to get from toddler escaping to Egypt to walk on water guy. To me, that's the part, that would be the interesting part of the story to me. Now, of course, in the Christian tradition, it's not that important because he was simply God. It was easy. He just did it. It wasn't a problem. For those of us that see him as an example, what would we have liked to have had? The example. So what happened? How did Jesus get to that place? If he wasn't born different, if he wasn't born more one with God than we are, because we all know one with is kind of the same size. So Jesus was not more one with God than we are. We aren't less one with God than Jesus was. So what's the secret? So I started looking at it and I started trying to reverse engineer the process? Because what I know about most people that have spiritual practice is whatever has worked for them, they keep doing, right? So if I can look at the spiritual practice, what do I see in Jesus' life that may point to his path? How did he develop that consciousness? And when you read the Bible, you see things like fasting. That certainly shows up. Silence, taking time away from the world, certainly shows up. Prayer certainly shows up. To some extent, discussion of spiritual topics, discussions of God. But as I sought to go deeper, as I sought to really look at what it was that may have been at least one of the major keys that took Jesus from toddler to miracle worker, to someone completely aware of the Christ consciousness within them, aware of their oneness, one thing really struck me, and again, I'm sure a lot of this is projection, and that's part of how we read the Bible in unity. We read the Bible knowing that the truth is there, and then we look for it. And sometimes it's a personal truth, and sometimes it's a wider truth. And in this case, I believe it is a wider truth, because what I saw in Jesus' life as a spiritual practice, more than I think than anything else, is kindness, respect, compassion. There's a couple references to him fasting, a couple references to him going off and doing the silent thing. But when you think of the life of Jesus, what do you think of? Do you think of him as a person that fasted? Do you think of him as a person that went off alone in the wilderness? Or do you think of him as someone who was kind? And to me, I began to realize that perhaps that was the spiritual practice, or one of them, that helped take Jesus from toddler to healer, was kindness. Because kindness is something that you can practice when you're 3 or 4 or 5 or 40. It's something that doesn't necessarily need special training. You don't need to have some arcane teacher come and tell you the secret words to mutter over and over again to find your oneness. And I also noticed that when I talk about kindness, when I looked at the Bible, we didn't see a lot of grand gestures. Jesus didn't build orphanages. He healed individuals. He was kind to individuals. And what I noticed also was that he was often kind, respectful, compassionate to people he didn't need to be kind and compassionate towards. And I think there's a tendency for us to interpret some of the things when it talks about what you do to the least of my people and things like that. We often, I think, our mind, at least mine, runs to helping the homeless, helping the orphan, helping those who are suffering. But what I also see Jesus doing is showing kindness to the tax collector, showing kindness to the general people, showing kindness to those he healed. And so what I really would like to invite you to do is look at kindness as a spiritual practice. I called this talk the day after. And what I really meant by that is we have tonight, we have love, we are here, you have left your, how many of you are normally not outside of your house at 11 o'clock? So you have changed your entire life. You have created a paradigm shift. You are doing something right now that you probably haven't done in years. So I invite you now to take this moment and not let it go. You've already changed. How many of you really, if someone had said 6 months ago, oh, by the way, at 11 o'clock at night, you're going to go hang out and listen to someone talk, how many of you would have said you're probably crazy? Okay, so we're already dealing with a miracle here, right? Your very presence here tonight is a miracle. And I'm not being cute or sarcastic or funny when I say that. It is. How many of you feel it's a miracle that you're here with the person you're with? How many of you who are here alone feel it's a miracle that you're able to be here in community with people that do care about you, that look at you in the eye and acknowledge you? This is a miracle. And what I'm inviting you to do is say, if this miracle can happen, if you can get out of the house at 10:30 to go to a spiritual service, Jimmer is awesome and so is Janet, they're worth coming for, I'm not saying they're not, but if you can do that, do you think you can make the miracle occur of moving kindness into your life? Are you willing to do that? Okay. I'm one of those believers that vagueness does not work with spiritual practice. I think if you put on your pad, meditate more, what usually happens? You have a piece of paper that says meditate more. So I'm going to invite you to a very specific spiritual practice involving kindness. And there's lots of different ways to do this. So this is kind of like someone saying, let's talk about meditation by following our breath. There are many other kinds of meditation, many other kinds of way to be kind. I mean, there are other ways to do kindness. But this one is very specific, and there's a number of reasons why I believe that this is a very doable, but also a very powerful, life-changing spiritual practice. And it's a spiritual practice of thank you. I believe that saying thank you effectively, and I'll talk about that in a second, is one of the most powerful ways to change the way we view the world, the way we view our place in it, and the way we view the people in it. And I want to say I'm not just talking about gratitude. There's a lot of talk about gratitude in New Thought, and in all religions really, and it's wonderful. But often when we talk about gratitude, we're kind of talking about gratitude in what direction, at least symbolically. This. I'm grateful to what I have. I'm grateful to the universe for giving me this. I'm grateful for this in my life, and I'm grateful to the divine. But what is the divine? Even closer, even easier, even simpler to comprehend, what is the divine that we come in contact with every day? It's the clerk at the grocery store. It's the person at the window at the fast food restaurant that some of us go to. This is a very healthy congregation. I can't count on things like that. It's the person on the other end of the phone when you're calling about a billing issue. And that's, by the way, the people that I'm really encouraging you to practice this spiritual practice with. If you want to practice it with your partner, that's awesome. One of the best ways that you can improve your relationship is to say thank you to your partner. But again, I'm talking about Jesus here. I'm talking about a spiritual practice based on Jesus. And to me, and again, this is not meant as a joke, when I visualize Jesus, what I see is someone who took moments to say thank you. Do you get that feeling that Jesus would have been really good at thank you? Have you ever known anyone in your life that is really good at thank you? That takes those moments, makes eye contact, is specific, and it just feels different? Well, that's what I'm inviting you to do. And I'm inviting you to do it because I think it will change your life. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to do, in my opinion, for an effective thank you. And it's funny because I used to teach this, where I first came across this spiritual practice was in business class. I used to teach a seminar in business communication. I taught it all over Southern California and the Western United States, and hotel rooms and boardrooms and all kinds of places. And there's three things that I really would like to stress about saying thank you. The first is you have to be sincere. You have to be sincere. If you are not able to sincerely say thank you, please don't. Second, and this is really important, be specific. And again, remember, I'm trying to talk about the 1,000 times or 10 times or 15 times a day when we're interacting with other people we don't know. Find something about that interaction that you're grateful for. Find something about what that person has done for you that you are grateful to them for. Can you see where this can be life-changing from the point of view of how you see the world? Because if you set yourself a goal of saying thank you 5 times a day in an effective, meaningful, spiritual way, what are you having to do 5 times at least during the day? Find things to be grateful for. Find things that are going well. Find reasons that you're grateful for life. So the 3 things: to be sincere, to be specific. It's not enough to take your change and say thank you. I invite you to say thank you. I want you to know I really appreciate being able to get this food because I'm really hungry. Can you feel the difference that that would make? And that's the third piece, is how it impacts you. It just makes it more real. How many of us really say thank you and it's almost like saying how are you? It has almost no meaning. How many of us walk by someone and say, hey, how are you, and keep on walking? How many of us say thank you because we were hit a lot as a kid, and maybe just me, if you didn't? So it became that kind of conditioned response. How many of you feel the difference when you say amen and mean it, and say amen because the crowd said it? It's the same thing. So what I'm inviting you to do is take this seriously as a spiritual practice. Take this seriously as a way to change how you view the world and how you view people. Because what I know is if it becomes a habit, it's much harder to have a bad day. If you create patterns, for instance, whenever I am at the grocery store, I make sure I thank the clerk, and if someone's doing the bagging, I thank them. And I have to sometimes hunt for a reason. But there's always something, even if it's just, I really appreciate you working here because I'm really happy I was able to get this on sale today. This has made my life a little bit better. Thank you for being part of it. Does that make sense? And can you see how now you're connecting with people on a different level? They're no longer just that machine that moved some things around and put it in a bag you had to bring yourself to take home. Because you're connecting with them on a human level. And I guarantee, and those of you that know me know that I rarely say the words guarantee. If you do this consistently, you will find, not every time, but you will find moments of connection that truly feel like a namaste moment. Where the divine within you is saying thank you, and it's being heard by the divine in them. We can say namaste, but most people don't necessarily get that, do they? If you're at the grocery store and say namaste to the clerk, they may know what it means, they may respond, or they may look at you like, wow, you're one of those. That explains the vegan hummus. But if you say thank you, now we're talking a universal language in our culture. But if I say thank you for this specific thing, thank you for making my life better for doing this, and I make eye contact, isn't that kind of a namaste moment? And I'm not trying to denigrate namaste, I'm not trying to bring it down. What I'm doing is elevating thank you. Thank you is a sacred process. I find it so amazing that we will spend hours talking about expressing gratitude to the divine and doing gratitude journals and gratitude prayers and starting our day with gratitude and ending our day with gratitude. And yet when it comes to the clerk that just rang up that vegan hummus, But that's God. That's God. That's the experience of the divine. We are telling God, thank you for having vegan hummus in your store so that I can go home and enjoy this. Thank you for that. Thank you for making my life better. One of my very favorites, and I find this works a lot, when I go through a drive-through, which of course is very, very, very rare. And it's always that vegan healthy drive-through that it's very hard to find, I understand. For those of you that know me, I'm kidding, just in case you're new. But I often, if I'm going through in the morning, I say, thank you for being here this early so I can get some food and eat. Thank you. If I'm going through in the evening, thank you for being here this night so that I can get something to eat. I really appreciate that. If I go shopping tomorrow, I will thank them for working on Christmas Day. If I go shopping the day after that, I will thank them for something else. But what I've done is I've told myself, this is what I'm going to do. This is my goal. And if you want to take it to a really advanced part, next time you're on hold, trying to get some kind of customer service, write down on your pad, I'm going to say thank you. Is there something about that interaction that you can be thankful for? If you're getting cable and you're having a problem, but you really enjoy something on cable, you could even say that, couldn't you? Thank you. I'm really glad we worked this out because I'm really enjoying watching blank. I don't want to give you any hints about what I watch because then you'll just judge me, and I don't need that. But the truth is, I think we say thank you too much, and I think we express thank you too little. Does that difference make sense? So on a macro level or a larger level, yes, practice more kindness. Keep this Christmas spirit all year long. How many times does it work when we say it like that? How many times does it work in June or July? So what I'm going to invite you to do is to sit down tomorrow, because let's face it, it's after 11 now. I'm not going to ask you to write anything down now. But tomorrow, as part of your Christmas, sit down and define what kind of plan you want to follow for thank you. And I mean this, I really do. I think every time, unity is a practical spirituality. We constantly strive to give you things that you can really use. But this is my Christmas talk. This is possibly one of the best suggestions I feel I've ever made. And I'm not being arrogant when I say that, because I'm comparing it to my other suggestions. So you can judge how good or bad it is. But make this commitment. Are you going to say thank you a certain number of times a day? Are you going to pick certain places to say thank you? Like, I will always say thank you at the grocery store. I will find a reason to say thank you. I will find a reason to be thank you here. I would be reason to be thankful there. And again, I'm talking about focusing on the people we don't have to be kind to. Because if you want to be rude to the clerk at the grocery store, can you be rude to them? Culturally, is it really pretty much okay for you to treat them badly? Yeah, sadly it is. If you want to ignore them, can you do that? How many people have you had dinner or lunch with someone, they get refilled coffee 3 or 4 times, they never acknowledge that another human being took boiling liquid, walked it across the room and poured it into their cup for them, and then walked away? And have you been with people like that don't even say thank you? Are you going to say thank you? Are you going to write down somewhere as you get ready to go into the restaurant, before you go in, I'm going to say thank you 3 times. I'm going to find 3 things to be thankful for. Very biblical number 3. Thank you for that coffee. I'm really enjoying it. I appreciate that it's hot. Now again, be sincere, because insincerity doesn't work. But that's the spiritual part, isn't it? You have to find something. You may have to look, but you'll find it. You'll find the positive. You'll find the good. You'll find the blessing in your relationship with that person, even if that relationship is just a hot cup of coffee, which, by the way, is one of the greatest blessings sometimes anyone can ever give us. Be kind in general. But I really ask you to move beyond that generality and say thank you. And I'm saying this with sincerity because it doesn't work if it's not sincere. Thank you for coming tonight. When we originally talked about doing this 11 o'clock service, I was very aware that I might have had a private concert with Jimmer and Janet. That was a possibility. I want to sincerely thank all the people that came here this evening early to volunteer. They're not only here at 11, a lot of them got here at 9:30. So thank you. Thank you, Elise, for being such a partner to me this evening in making this happen and in making this ceremony happen. Thank you to Sue and Keith, Michael and Leah. I always worry when I do this, Alicia, that I'm going to miss someone, but thank you, sincerely, you have made this happen. And I want to thank every single one of you here for coming tonight. For those of you that are still awake, I'd like to thank you for making it all the way through the talk. For those of you that aren't awake, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to have the experience of people sleeping during a talk. And that really is something to be grateful for. I truly am grateful for all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being my community. Thank you for coming here tonight at 11 o'clock and celebrating the Christ consciousness that arises within each and every one of us, that is our birthright, that is who we are. And every time you say thank you, you're accessing it just a little more. Every time you say thank you, you're touching that thing that says, I am one with God, you are one with God, we are one with God, God is all. Even if it's just the clerk at Jack in the Box. Not that I ever eat at Jack in the Box. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Namaste.